This short video is to get you started with Hot Potatoes. So once you've downloaded the Hot Potatoes software, double click on the Hot Potatoes icon and you'll have a choice of different hot potatoes that you can select. There's the multiple choice J-quiz option, which also allows short answers. There's the close or gap fill hot potatoes. There's a crossword hot potatoes. There's a matching or drag and drop hot potatoes and a jumbled exercise hot potatoes, which can do sentences, numbers into an order, letters into a word. And then there's an index hot potato, so you can build indexes for different hot potatoes quizzes. Let's start by creating a multiple choice quiz. The first thing we need to do is to give our quiz a title. And we type in our first question. And I'm doing what day follows Tuesday so that I can do different spellings for the word Wednesday. And you put in your answers. Making sure that one of the answers is the correct answer. You then put in your feedback. Normally you'd put in constructive, helpful feedback. At the moment I'm just doing for really short feedback to save a bit of time, and you can copy and paste feedback into appropriate answers if you're not going to give different feedback for each of the incorrect answers. And then you need to tell the editing software which is the correct answer. So along the line or row of the correct answer, you check the correct box. And while we're here, you'll notice that there are options, so you don't need to do simple multiple choice questions as I'm doing here. You could also swap and do multi-select, short answer, etc. Once you've created your quiz, then you can opt to do file and save, or you can select the save option on the toolbar. What you need to do is, let's go up, we need to create a folder to keep our hot potatoes exercises in. So I'm going to keep a folder here, which I'm going to call exercise, hot potato exercise, and select that. And then I give my hot potatoes quiz a name, which I'll just call it days. And it will save it as a .jqz file. That's an editable version of the hot potatoes exercise. And I'm going to say save. And now I can create a web page version, the version that you would give to your students. And I can do that through File and Create a Web Page, or I can select the what looks like a spider's web option on the toolbar, and that will export or create a web page. The first thing, again, it asks you to do is save. It picks up the name of the file that you've already saved it with, and if I find my actual folder, it's already picked up the name days. This time it's going to save it as a HTML file. Alright, so it's not a .jqz, it's a HTML, and I'm going to say save again. And then it gives me the option to have a look at this in my web browser to see what my exercise looks like. So I select this. If it comes up and asks you to allow block content, then you need to allow block content, and up comes your quiz. And you can check to see if you've got the right answer, which I've got to try again. That was my feedback. And if I get the right answer, it says well done, but it's docked my score because I've had more than one attempt. Now while I'm on this page, it looks quite grey and quite boring. I'm going to show you how to change that in a second, but I also want to point out these two functions here, the index and the next question. We don't have an index and we don't have a next, not next question, but the next hot potatoes exercise to go to. So in a minute we're going to take those options away from our quiz so that if somebody clicks on them, they don't get this error message. Alright, so we can go back into our quiz. We can simply close that down and go back to our quiz. This is the editable version, and I'm going to show you how to make it look a little bit more exciting. So if you go to options and you go to configure output, you then get a series of tabs across the top. Now, we're not interested in all of these, but you can write some explicit instructions for your learners so that they know exactly what you're expecting them to do, especially if you're going to add a timer or something like that. You can change the feedback prompt, so the things that appear on the buttons, to be whatever you like, and you can even input images at this point. You do need to go to the Buttons tab because we need to take off those two navigation things by coming halfway down the page where the navigation area is and unchecking those two boxes. Then we're going to go to the Appearance tab and we're going to change it so it's no longer that horrible grey quiz looking thing, and you can go to the page background colour, select the rainbow button and choose from the palette a colour that you would like to use and say OK, and that changes the outside colour of the exercise. And then if you go to the exercise background colour and select the rainbow, you can choose an actual colour for the exercise itself, and I'll just make it different at the moment to show you what that would look like, but I quite often pick the same colour for both. Alright, so you can see a preview of it there. You then say OK. Nothing happens here on your editable version. It will do when we actually play it. I'm just going to nip back into options to show you the other tabs actually. After appearance you can put on a timer, so you could time your exercises, and you can also, if you select other, change some of the functions, etc. So each time, I always do this one, each time the questions load I shuffle the answers so that learners can't copy off each other, and you can choose some of the different options there, and then I say OK. I do a save my exercise again, and then I recreate the web page. And again, it asks you to save it, so you say you save. Now, because we've already done one, it tells you it already exists, and yes, we're just going to write over the top of it. And again, you get the option to view it in your browser, and again, you might get the pop-up blocker. This time, much more colourful and no navigation bars up there. So that's how to do a quick hot potatoes quiz.